They say the cruelest words aren't spoken by strangers, they're spoken by the ones you gave your whole life to. I never thought I'd hear my own son look me in the eyes and say, "You're not family anymore." And when he did, I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I took a deep breath, and I made him regret every last word. My name is Harold, I'm 68 years old, and for most of my life I worked the line at an auto plant in Ohio. Every morning I wake before the sun, put on a pot of coffee, and sit by the window with my old radio humming country songs from the 90s. The walls of this little house are lined with pictures, my wife Susan, who passed too young, and my boy Daniel, back when he still needed me. I lived for that boy, you know. Every extra shift I worked, every backache I carried home, it was all for him. I thought when I got older, he'd be my comfort, my family. I was wrong. Raising Daniel wasn't easy after Susan died. I worked double shifts, sometimes falling asleep on the couch in my work boots just so there'd be food on the table and clothes on his back. I missed holidays, I missed rest, but I told myself it was worth it, because one day, he'd understand. But somewhere along the way, Daniel stopped seeing me as a father and started seeing me as a burden. He called my way of life out of touch. He told me my house, the same house I bled and sweated for 40 years to pay off, was his future, not mine. "Dad, you're old, you don't understand how things work anymore," he sneered one night, his voice full of something I never thought I'd hear, disrespect. "You've had your time, you should be grateful I'm even here to take care of things." I stared at him, holding back the sting in my chest. I'd given him everything and in return, I was being treated like I was in the way. I didn't know it yet, but that was only the beginning. The boy I had raised was about to cut me out of his life completely. The day came when Daniel looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're not family anymore, this is my house now." Those words didn't just cut deep, they hollowed me out. He changed the locks, shifted the bank accounts, and even took family heirlooms that belonged to my late wife. "You don't need this stuff," he said coldly, "you won't be around long enough to use it." I wanted to rage, to throw him out right then and there, but instead I stood silent, my hands trembling, my heart breaking. I realized begging would only give him more power, so I nodded, turned away, and decided I would wait. That night I sat at my old desk with a single lamp burning and pulled out everything I'd kept tucked away for years, deeds, savings bonds, every receipt, every paper that tied me to this house and the life I built. I called up an old friend from the union, a man who still knew a good lawyer, and together we began piecing my life back into my hands. While Daniel strutted around certain I was beaten, I smiled at him. I let him think he'd won. He never noticed my late nights copying documents, or my visits to the lawyer's office, or the way I tucked papers neatly into a folder labeled Susan's Legacy. I wasn't acting out of rage, I was acting out of patience, and patience is something only age can teach. It didn't take long for Daniel to notice money disappearing from the accounts he thought were his. He stormed into my room, waving papers, shouting, "What the hell are you doing, old man?" I looked him square in the eyes and said, "Calm as a still pond, just making sure things are fair." He panicked, the texts started rolling in, late night calls, voicemails dripping with desperation. "Dad, we need to talk. Dad, you can't do this to me." But I didn't respond, my silence screamed louder than his tantrums. And as his arrogance crumbled, I realized something. He had power only as long as I let him, and I was done letting him. The final blow came on a Sunday morning, in the place where everyone in town still gathered, the church hall fundraiser. The room was packed with neighbors, folks who had known me since I was a young man with grease on my hands. I stood before them, folder in hand, and announced what Daniel never saw coming. "The house, the accounts, everything I worked for, has been restored to me, legally, permanently, because no man, not even my own son, has the right to take away the life I built with my own two hands." The crowd erupted in applause. Daniel's face turned pale, his jaw clenched, but he couldn't say a word. He'd been stripped bare, not by anger, but by the truth. And I looked at him, my voice steady, a man who disowns his own father, loses the right to everything his father built. After that day, Daniel drifted into silence, the neighbors avoided him, the respect he once demanded gone like smoke in the wind. Me? I sat back on my porch as the sun set over the quiet Ohio street, sipping my black coffee. I didn't celebrate his downfall, I didn't need to. What I reclaimed was more than money or property, I reclaimed my dignity. I thought of Susan, and I whispered, we did it, love, we didn't let him take what we built. And I realized something every old soul learns eventually, respect isn't a gift you hand down, it's a truth you earn, and you protect. So that's my story. I may be old but I'm not weak, I carry the strength of every sacrifice, every sleepless night, every dollar earned the hard way. And if anyone out there has ever been betrayed by their own blood, you know the pain I'm talking about. Tell me, have you ever been cut down by the ones you raised? Share your story in the comments. Because we may grow older, but we'll never stop standing tall.